Our sincere apologies for the distortion in the audio earlier, but welcome to another edition of the program Flipside. I'm Daisy Leo Asikidi, and of course, I am your host for today's edition of the show. It's already resumption week. Some children are already in school. Some are still home. I don't know what they're doing at home, but like their parents who will tell you first week of resumption, the children should be at home. Especially parents that have kids in public schools. I don't know why they do that. I don't think the pupils and the students are still the ones who clean the school. I don't think so. I could be wrong. But everyone should be in school now. School has resumed. And this term's calendar is going to be over by the last week of March. So let's hit the ground running. All right, we're going to talk about education sector today on Flipside. You know, we'll talk about all kinds of social issues. It could be teenage pregnancy, it could be drug abuse, it could be abortion, it could be the state of our roads, it could even be a little bit of politics, you know, anything that makes the news. We bring it here and give it ample time to really dissect it. So we're talking about our education sector. We're talking about the skills and knowledge that is needed for the 21st century child. An ailing sector, Nigeria's education sector is, but it's grappling with multiple challenges, including a high number of out-of-school children, a barely functional basic education system, a chronically underfunded tertiary education sector. And we know that the Universal Basic Education Act 2004 stipulates a free and compulsory basic education for young Nigerians. It's largely ineffective for many reasons. Academics says the deplorable state of infrastructure in that level of education is a problem. There's shortage of teachers as well as low remuneration for the available teachers. And so you have to pay at some point. Now, let's talk about the tertiary education. It's characterized by workers' industrial action stemming from underfunding of the system, and the workers struggle for a better pay. Year in, year out, ASU is on strike. The situation has been further exacerbated by the brain drain that is hitting the sector. Now, late last year, almost all federal universities hiked their school fees, and some of them to even more than 100% increments. People have been talking about it, but very little has been done to address that. The universities attributed their decision to the need for more funds to keep schools running. And so parents, we have to bear the burden. But today, we're going to be talking about this. In the studio, I have two very resourced, renowned persons talking about the topic education, skills and knowledge required for the 21st century workforce. At my far left is Mr. Oladele Ogundele. He's the State Secretary, Association for Formidable Educational Development, AFED. Mr. Dele is also a member of the Education Advisory Board, Edo State Ministry of Education. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, viewers.
It's good to have you here. And then the ever-glowing Miss Angela Ijoma Ogu. She is the Executive Director, Western Iyamo Global Foundation. They do a whole lot of education-related stuff. She's also a lecturer with Benson Idahosa University. And the most important one for me is that she's a practicing school social worker. It's not common. Yeah. It's very rare.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
So,
nice being here.
Welcome to the show. And we're going to talk about, but you see, these people, they know their onions, they know their stuff. And we're going to start with you, Mr. Dele, since I introduced you first. How would you address the current state of education in Nigeria? What aspects do you think needs immediate attention and improvement?
Thank you very much. If you want me to assess, it's in a very pitiable state, sincerely. A lot. In your intro, you mentioned a lot of things that has been happening. Talk about the tertiary education being underfunded. Most pitiable is that the basic education We are close to 20 million out of school children in Nigeria. Fact. So, and you see, what we can do actually is that there's supposed to be like a state of emergency when it comes to education. A whole lot needs to be said. Over the years, it has been very clear that we seem not to be serious about it. Just mouth it, just talk, discuss it, talk it in different fora. But there have not been actionable action. To me, from what I've seen. I could remember in 2018, we had opportunity to, the media forum like this, and we're talking about having close to 18 million Nigerian out-of-school children. Now, instead of now the thing is increasing.
Of course.
And we have, by the education policy of the universal basic education, like you said, there's supposed to be a compulsory basic education from ECCD 1 to basic 9. That's J3. But yesterday, it may interest you that they were arresting some children, some parents on the street. Because even the parents have theirs, government have theirs. There have not been reasonable action towards addressing that. That's one side. We also have the parents themselves. Probably there's no much of orientation on what this is all about. We have a situation where there is a part of the education sector that government is actually not looking into. You know, in that universal basic education policy, you have, you know, the funding of basic education is concurrently, is a concurrent funding, financing. You have 50% from the federal government, of the universal UBE, then 20 from state and local government respectively. Yes. Now, some states could not even, they refuse to access the fund that is in the 50% provided by the universal basic education. Yes, we have them. And these same people, these same leaders, when I mention parents, come back with parents because education is major. A scientist says, or no, Leslie Mandela says that education is a weapon through which you can conquer the world. So if there is no focus on basic education, we lost it. We're losing it. Our children use slogan of education is a scam.
Yeah.
Yes, they use the slogan. If we want to quote, we say, okay, well, maybe I pray that in the future we'll not be quoting and say, one student says, just as we are quoting some great scientists today. So to me, I think there have not been reasonable action taken. Probably there is low budget allocation. There is low implementation of the low budget allocated. So you can see a lot of funds diverted or probably no enough fund not directed to, and year out, our leaders come up, use it to sing to us, talk to us about it. It's quite unfortunate.
It's sad.
It's quite sad.
It's sad. You know, I see pictures, videos every time on the news of the basic education schools, you know, with their dilapidated structures, and I'm thinking, how do people even learn in such an environment? In Canada, I have a relative in Canada, and his kids actually attend private school there, and they don't pay. It's free.
Yeah, it's
free. Yes. Whether it's a public school, it's a private school, it is free education. Like the 2004 Act says, it's supposed to be free. Yes. But if you go to private school, we know what we pay. So let's talk about, I'll come to you now, Mr. Joma. How would you say, what kind of evolvement do you see in the next decade in Nigeria's education? Because in the past 2 years now, our out-of-school children seem to be increasing. Yeah. So what kind of evolvement do you see happening in the foreseeable future?
Well, I want to stand by saying that, or start by saying from where he stopped. He said he mentioned some of the issues that we have within the school. And I think I've been through, if not 7 states, let me just specify, I don't want to say 10, but 7 states in the country. And I can boast to say there's nothing special about the education system in these states that I have been to, including my state. Yeah. It's so sad that we put this pupil students, especially the basic or foundational education side, make these children to face different unbearable conditions. And then we expect them to actually fit into international competitions with those who are, you know, in these good facility schools. Right. And it's disturbing for me. And with the rate we have now, we're going, he said 20 million, and I think that's what I have in one of my documents, and that's by UNICEF. Actually, he rated us one of the countries with a high school dropout. Yeah. And then you find out that it will lead us to more crime, so we should expect to be robbed someday while driving. It will lead us to children or youth now involved in assassin or thuggery, and so we should expect those. And then it's even more fearful that I don't know where my own children will fall into. Now we complain of people going into Yahoo, we complain of people being using humans for ritual, but this is what it is. These children and youth are responding, but we are refusing to listen. Lord knows who is the next victim. So we need to listen, and it's quite unfortunate that a particular dispensation started all this nonsense. Because I went to a public school in Lagos, and it was interesting to know, or it is interesting to note that we have things that will make children want to come to school. In fact, they will disturb you as a parent if you don't take them to school. You have this drum, you keep marching and people drumming. It's a government school. For the schools I have been to in Benin, I am yet to see drums in schools. Please, anybody can call and quote me.
Sure.
I've been to major government schools around the local government areas. I don't see drum sets. And these are what actually build the skills of these children. They don't have, in fact, when they bring football to school, you see the teachers trying to beat them, except for very few I noticed recently, who, when there was a football competition within the school, secondary schools, they were now trying to get a coach and coach them. But these are things that are normal. We can be part of my brother. We can actually have the best basketballer, best footballer from their growing age. But no, we shut them down and then wait for them to get to a particular, and we start hitting our head. How are we going to train them? Where are we taking them to? That's not what it is. Watch we want to copy the white, but watch them. From a tender age, they send them to academy. And then you see that the child grows up being strong to even professionalize in what is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But now we wait till end time. I beg, let me ask a question. Who do us this one? This is now getting annoying.
Because times are changing and nothing seems to be changing.
In those days, we had fine arts lab. And I remember using soaking paper, newspaper, using starch to make up something. That's innovative mind. Arts. Yes. We had food and nutrition. What's it called?
Oh, I love that one. We cook a lot.
And we were cooking. In fact, I decided that we must cook. Then we also had chemistry, biology. All those labs made students to look at things from a different perspective. Please, can you mention a government-owned secondary school with well-equipped lab? I would like to visit them myself. This is the problem.
And even the one I know is actually a federal government-owned school that I went to. So I know because I went.
Have you checked the facilities? It's different to say, it's different to say there's a lab, then for it to be equipped.
At least for the few creative arts you mentioned.
Yes.
I'm not going to talk about the physics, chemistry, biology, The fine arts, they still have a very well equipped art gallery. Then the food and nutrition, the teachers won't even let that one die. Then they had clothing and textile, where if I had known, if my mother had encouraged me, I should have actually taken that course, that subject in secondary school, because yes, I would have been a very good tailor while I was still in secondary school. When those people were making money in school, in boarding house, they make amendments for us, they were sewing. That was a lot of things, but we all wanted to be doctors.
No, I didn't want to be that, actually.
Okay, so things are already changing, whether we like it or not. The education landscape in the world has moved on. And that's why I think if you have graduated from Nigeria, you take your results to a tertiary institution outside the country, it's difficult for you to even get admission. And then again, if you want to work, maybe you relocate. They'll tell you to go back to their own school. Like, how do I do a master's in Nigeria? You're telling me to go run a diploma in your country. Like, who does that? But that's how much they've relegated our certificates to in Nigeria. So, but Mr. Dele, what do you think there are some kind of obstacles that maybe we are not seeing? Because I think we've mentioned quite a number, and this is not the first time these things have been pointed out. Maybe it's now spiritual. that is affecting Nigeria's education system.
That's how Africa believe that it's spiritual.
Everything
it's not spiritual.
Okay. So, but presently, let me go to my next question. Are there certain things in our curriculum, because I think some things must change, but are there certain things that, would you be able to highlight some of the things you would say should remain? Some of the things you would say should be discarded, just get rid of it totally, and some things that you would say should be introduced from the basic to the tertiary at this time, this 21st century that we're in?
Okay, thank you. The great physicist, that's Albert Einstein. Those days we used to study physics and we just do, we read about them, said that education is supposed to be, I'm just trying to paraphrase what he said, supposed to be teaching people how to think and not telling them what they should think. Now, the curriculum, today's curriculum, my dear sister, needs to be overhauled, needs to be
a total
one that can fit into the reality we are having on ground. She was talking about skills and all these things. Our curriculum didn't capture. Our curriculum didn't capture this. Gone are those days that you just come to the classroom and what you just do is that you just write and really, I must say this. As I interact with some persons, even Ministry of Education in the Edo State here, what they are saying truly is in line with what the reality. But see, we have a you see that leadership, somebody will come now and put in a system or trying to put in a system, and that person will come tomorrow and change it and say this is how it will go. Now, children just resumed school 2 days ago, and a director was talking to me in ministry prior to that resumption. That was before the new year, and she was telling me, okay, this resumption, what is wrong if children come to school the first day and they engage in activities, not necessarily carry chalk or marker,
classroom work.
Yes, and putting them, you must know, and involve in activities like even making of colors. I watched the videos yesterday of one of our schools where they were picking colors, and everybody, you were giving yellow, you're giving blue, and I'm talking about the little kids now. I'm talking about the kindergarten, and they were just picking. It's fun to them. One, it spoiled their learning. They want to learn. They want to engage. They want to be involved. So the curriculum needs to be overhauled. One of the things that needs to be removed, the curriculum, is that the curriculum address is talking. If you look at it very well, it's past. Sometimes today we'll be talking about when we're in school. They don't allow us to engage in. When you go and play football, you come back, you are a bad child. You understand? But if you are indoor and you're yes, you're a good child, but today we have some of those bad children that are now
making big names.
That we are now watching and
following.
Now, the curriculum needs to be designed in such a way that it will, one, encourage digital learning, because presently we are in a digital environment. Your child, your little child is just at home and is already conversant, is just already getting used to how to press the computer and the phones. Now, that is one. That is why we say they need to bring it out, and I will not tell you they should tear it, so that, but I will tell you that they need to bring it out, call stakeholders, and just do an overhauling, revamp it, remove some of those things that does not encourage this, encourage digital learning, encourage skills, critical thinkings, that where children will engage in thinking, they can involve themselves. Also, engage, put the input in things that skills acquisition. I was happy when I heard about Benin Technical College, and I tried to visit there. I love what I see, but I don't like it that we have such one or few like that. If you have something like that, like in 18 local government, I'm telling you, children want, yes, someone that want to go and learn wedding, I want to do these things will later affect the economy, improve the GDP. Sometimes ago I learned that some of these charger that we what do we have, this our little rechargeable lamps, and this charging, there's this thing they used to charge battery. This I'm not talking about the charger. There's one that you remove your battery. What do they call it now? You put it. You now plug it. You be
adapter.
Oh yeah, that's an old one.
I was told that these things were made by
children.
Children.
Yeah.
Children. They will be engaged, because basic education that we're talking about. If in the developed world, if you go through the 9, our curriculum says, the policy says 633 whatever. It is not really how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be 9. That 9 compulsory years of from basic 1 to
JSS3
to J3 supposed to be. Once a child is through with that, a child should be able to go either for, you can go for skill acquisition, go to technical school, or if you want to go further, you want to become medical, whatever, all these things, you can go for it. So the curriculum need overhauling, especially basic education. So much of it. Remove the traditional ways of teachings. Our teachers, that's the colleges of education needs to be, see the chains of it, because that's where we produce teachers that teach children. If that school is not, their system is not overhauled and the method changed, they will pass it. Gone are those days. Do you know that children nowadays, they can get whatever they want to learn on ChatGPT? They can everything, they will get it out. They can get, sorry to mention here, some children, when they are writing these exams, everything they will just bring it out. Children shared inside examination hall. They share. So that is to tell you that we are no longer in the era of this is how you prepare lesson notes. This is how you
lesson plan.
Let us encourage digital learning, and they should be input into the curriculum.
Interesting.
So that our children can actually, and doing this, you have to start from the colleges of education, from the faculties of education, where you produce this teacher, so that they will now know. My first degree, I did computer science. I never saw computer. I'm sorry to say. I don't want to mention the university.
Mention it.
You follow me. I didn't see computer. No, I don't want to.
You want to fall their hand.
On the alumni group.
Interesting. As you were just mentioning some sports skills, I remember that I think we have a way of copying each other too much in Edo State, especially the private schools. I think one private school just started the whole ballet classes and taekwondo classes, and everybody does that now. Ballet, taekwondo, swimming, and that's all. And there should be others. I mean, what happens? Even the ballet, why not make it gymnastics? I mean, that's a sport. I mean, the swimming is good, but why not add basketball now that you said? Why not add tennis? chess, volleyball. There are so many, and we have a
Handball.
good stadium.
Yeah.
And this is giving me a lot of thought. I feel like opening in a school, but I'm not trained for it, so I'll just mind
Nobody's
myself.
trained for it. It's your passion.
Okay, so just add something to what he said before we go on
I
a
think
break at 2.
that apart from the education side, as trying to infuse knowledge, we should also take it that there are things that actually made the students to increase from being out of school pupil or student, which is building the resilience to continue in school.
Okay, I'll pause you there quickly. I know I did say you should add something. We'll just quickly take a short break for the news headline. And when we come back from that headline, we'll continue this conversation. You're still there with us, and we're talking about the education sector. We're talking about the skills and the knowledge that children should be acquiring for this 21st century at this time. But before we've talked about digital skills, we've talked about sports, we've talked about general creative art skills, manufacturing and all of that. But, we must first identify our problems before we can even get solutions to them. So it's good that we're mixing it all up together. So I was with you, Mr. Joma. I was saying you should add what your own 2 cents to the change. Yeah. And when you're done with that, you would also talk about the input of parents, because we must talk to parents in all of this. What's their role? Some don't know. Yeah. Some just take it like, I beg you. I don't try. Even when I know go school, I never still make calm. So let's start with your consumption.
Yeah. I was adding that the student no longer have resilience, the strength to continue because of certain issues that actually happen. And what does that mean for us? It means we remove the whole counseling thing from the school process. And there are children who actually come from homes that remove their focus from education. I would have been a victim of that, because I grew up from somewhat that kind of family where somebody say, yeah, what are you going to school for? So if I had held on to that thought, but it took uncles, it took friends who kept pushing, you can make this happen. You can go for it. So I don't understand why any public school should not have counselor. And we have people graduating from universities, from guidance and counseling every year. So what do you want those ones to do? Now you push them in and force them to become a teacher. That's not their profession. And then they will give you garbage in, garbage out, because that's not what they are trained to do. So we are destroying the system by putting a round peg in square holes. It won't go down well. And then you talk about the parents. Unfortunately, we have failed. I understand that all children are not the same, and you need to understand your child to know what kind of training suits that child. You can't tell me you have 3 children and you use the same training for all of them. You won't get the best result. You study your child and then know what best fits that child. The problem now with parents, like I normally tell my students, is that I'm not sure if your parents want you to go to school. I think you're here in school because of their own selfish interest. Why? His daughter is in 400 level engineering. Yeah? Now I'm forcing my daughter to be in 400 level or 300 level medicine, so that when I go to her and say, hey, I just went to drop my daughter in the park, she's going back to school, all these children. So that now will be able to say, that's why my own too. Not practically. Yes. Not practically, you want to see that child.
Do better.
Exactly. Feeling the problems in the system. When you finish from primary school, there should be something you can solve for your country. If we have a good education system. You should have developed one innovative thing that will stand you out as a primary school student. Then when you now come to secondary school, oh my God. My father didn't go to school, na standard 6 he go. But then, his standard 6 of those days, you cannot compare it with a university graduate of today. So, you find that we have missed everything. Parents now say, he does not want to come to school. He say he's tired. My father, when I tell him I have headache, he say, he'll go and get me Panadol and water, and so I should take. I will finish taking it. After like 30 minutes, I say, it's headache. I say, I'm getting it. I say, okay, let's go and wear your uniform. I must get to school that day. But no, the parents we now have is, we over pamper our kids. And they no longer understand where the pampering is coming from.
Yeah.
You can't be in my house and not go to school. We paid school fees.
Yes.
You will go, my dear, and you will learn. My parents can't see me copying notes at home. You will explain to them where you were when the person you're copying from was copying that note. But these are values.
Oh, good.
We have lost all of them.
I chop cane.
You can't do that. So you carry another person's notes. So that picking, he carried two heads. Where were you when that person was copying the
No,
notes?
you sound like my mom. You know, she's a teacher too, and I really hate writing. God, I hated to use my hands to write. I'd rather draw.
So that's why your curriculum should be involved.
Yes.
They are practical students and they are writing students.
Yes. It was horrible. So when God favored me, I got into secondary school. I was now in boarding school, so I don't even bother.
The junior will do that.
But unfortunately for me, when we close for the term, she comes to pick me. I'm like, Mom, say I can't come. My school is in Benin. I can't come. I say, no, I'm coming to pick you. Pack all your books. Let's go home. Then we get home and she sits down. Oh, yeah.
Bam.
Why is this one 15th? And the next time you had biology, is not. Why? What's that? Why? You know? God. That woman can flog for Africa.
Yeah. But you see where you are.
Yes, of course.
Have done well for yourself.
Interesting. Okay, let's talk quickly about our 2024 budgets for education in the federal, from the budget of change or whatever. Renewed hope, exactly, with the box. You know, the part that really struck me is for the tertiary education, which I know ASU for the last couple of years have been crying for better funding. If you combine the 26 federal universities together, what they got in the allocation is not up to what the National Assembly is getting. Yes, the education budget, the budget for education in general is like the third or second. About 7%. You know, the international standard wants 15%. We are above 7%. Almost looks like an improvement, but we've always lingered between 5 to 7 for more than 20 years. But if you compare National Assembly budget and that of the federal universities, just the federal universities, theirs is still way bigger. They proposed 197 for them. They increased it to over 300, you know, and nobody's talking.
Yes.
So what do you think about this budget? Why can't we just get 15% allocation that is required? Although even if we get that 15, I don't know if it will get down to, or the trickle down the system though. But what's so big that we cannot achieve for years now?
If you ask that question, one is the priority that we place, the priority of our leaders. Are you getting it now? Security and defense have the highest.
Yes.
Good.
And education second.
You know why? That's how it's always like that. When you do not prioritize, you do what you didn't do what you're supposed to do. Yes, you have to go and defend what you are not supposed to do. What is unnecessarily should not have defended.
Yeah.
Now, just as you said, UNESCO prescribed 10 to 20. That's about 15%. The last time we had budget that is around 10 was 2015. Was before President Buhari and
yes.
APC come into government. I'm not a politician, but I just see decline. It shocked me.
Steady one.
Are you following me now? In education, I watch a video clip on channel television. I could be quoted. I can trace it. I have it. I watched that video clip. Immediately, this president admission was sworn in, and they were talking about first subsidy, and they were discussing about a mop-up of fund that is going to come in once this. And our former governor, Comrade Oshomale, mentioned that because he was being interviewed, and he mentioned that ASU an ASUP, you know, there's one polytechnic, that their demand with 1 trillion, their demand could be addressed. When this budget proposal came out, I saw 1.5 trillion. This I said, okay, if 1 trillion is removed, is to take care of their this thing, the remaining 0 point something billion, is that what I mean trillion? Is that what we're going to use to address the whole system? It shows that we are not serious. We are not ready. That is the truth. Now, if you talk about the budget, if you want to analyze it, and you do not give priority to education, I believe that word of Nelson Mandela that says education is one of the greatest weapons to conquer the world. You do not educate, you didn't invest. It shows the quality of our priority. So if there are priorities like that, then we're not ready. We're not ready. We are not ready. Over the years, you see decline, you see percentage. We cannot even step it up. Even if it's 12, 50%, like you said, there will be change. Are you aware that there is a, I don't know, but this, are you aware that ASU is, they are
hinting.
Are you getting it?
Yeah, they're already hinting.
Because the same process. We call it renewed hope. I don't know. I just pray that
our hopes will be renewed.
Our hope will be renewed. So, but when it comes to this education, see, so one of the passion that I have for it is that I have discovered that it's a very big, I can sell my car because for my children to go to school. My mother sold a wrapper for me to enroll WAEC many years ago. So why can't I just put in, why can't our leader just put in and say, oh, this is a sector that our young ones are outside, they are telling, when they someone go for youth service, they will pay the person 33,000 in this economy, and says you use 33,000 to go to an environment he or she does not know, just lost there. Then some states don't even add up to it. Why some private sector may just add up something with accommodation or
you'll be amazed that 33,000 they pay some BSc degree holders in some private sector as salary. Is that when YC now?
You are correct. You are correct. No, you will be amazed. I'm a stakeholder. I know what is going on in the system. So really, the budget is not encouraging. It's not encouraging. Okay. In Edo State here, I checked something because I have seen. I think our budget last 2 years, education has the highest. Yes, at the highest. Sometimes ago, before I heard when during campaigns long ago when this our governor said, if you give me 100 naira, I will spend 60 naira on basic education. Sincerely speaking, I've seen it, but there are still lots to be done.
Yeah.
You understand? I think so. If National could come up with that, ASUP is there. Colleges of Education they are not. The last time I went to my village, I took my children. I drove to my secondary school. It's like this. It's declining. From the school that you get to before, from the gate you see everywhere. I ran into school. I didn't even see anybody. The windows are gone. The building cracks everywhere. I say, is it declining? Must we have this? Can't we sustain it? It's a mindset, man, and it's our priority. It shows that really our leaders they didn't prioritize well the welfare of our future generation.
Interesting. Now, this 21st century is very techy. That's the word that we use for it, you know. They are very tech savvy. They know everything that you don't know. Yeah. My mom, when retired during this Governor Basaki's administration, and before her retirement, you know, they brought these tabs. Yeah. You know, she'll bring it home, it's green, and then she'll come and teach me. If I get to school, this thing will register when I get to school. So first of all, lateness is out of it. You can't go late. Yeah. And you know, it was difficult at some point. They were trained though, but she still needed extra coaching continuously on how to use it. You know, they're actually tech immigrants.
Yeah, exactly.
Myself, I'm partial immigrant because it's the children they give birth to now. Those ones are the citizens. Yes. You don't even need to teach your 1-year-old what to do with your remote. There are things on your television, you'll be amazed that these things even exist there. They've pressed and they know what to press.
Check the menu.
So, but let's talk about technology. What role does technology have in actually shaping the future of education?
A whole lot. I thank God for NUC, the Nigerian University Commission. We have now moved to CCMAS. CCMAS is encouraging undergraduates to be more productive using digital devices. So we now, it's not about you sitting down in the university and just dishing out. No, you should also listen to them, because sometimes we are already fading away, they are taking over. So learn from them so that you can update what is happening. That's because they are always online more than we are. So we are always looking at textbooks, but they are now going to apps where they can where they can read these books from. So that has been done by NUC. But then at the basic and foundational level, I think that teachers should be trained digitally, first of all. I can't remember when last a teachers' conference was held. Yeah. And then teach these teachers how to use a projector to teach the students. And then make them, because we are leaving these children to their parents' phones, and some of them even have phones for themselves, which I think there should be a level of education you will get before you have access to a phone. Otherwise, if my parents don't have money to fund the credit, where do you get the credit from? Because we are sending signals to these kids. No. The day you don't have money to put data, they will look for somebody that will put the data. I may not be somebody that you want. So I think we should have an understanding of when we should expose these children. If you're not going to be there 24/7 to lead them on how to use gadgets. Gadgets and technology, just could you make them stay away for a while and introduce them to it gradually? Because that's why we have the whole Yahoo thing in the streets, because they were not tamed or trained on how to use it positively. And so when they decide to find out, they found out themselves negatively. And it's now, you can't tell a person to come and go to school now. Because the money is earning, a teacher in the next 15 years will not earn it. So that is the problem. Let's introduce it first of all to the teachers. You just said your mommy had a tab, and now telling you at home to come and teach her, when the ministry or the system could have taught her.
Oh, they did though.
Oh, they needed more. It's not once.
It's not.
It can't be just one.
It's not just the little 3 weeks. I know what they said. It was not sufficient. They tried, but because of their number,
there are a lot of them.
So, like what she said, really, there's supposed to be more of such, and probably regular ones. That
wonderful.
Training.
Okay, you mentioned earlier ChatGPT. You know, AI, whether we like it or we don't like it or, there's debate everywhere. It has come to stay.
Yes.
The last time we talked about cars on Business Rendezvous, another of our business show, we're talking about Cosmo getting a license in the US to operate cars that don't need drivers. And these cars are public cabs. So it's not privately owned. So you just get a cab, you order a cab online right now in the United States, and it will come without a driver. And it will take you to your destination. And they tell you that these cars are going to help eliminate road accidents because they are computerized. So AI, whether we like it or not, it has come. But what's the impact of this artificial intelligence on education? People are scared. A lot of people are scared. Do you think the impact is going to be more positive than negative? If I'm going to get all my answers from ChatGPT, why should I read? But I'm just wondering, what's the impact? What do you think it will be like?
Just like what Mama here said, that there's need for taming, there's need for control, there's need for that. The essence of setting up a school is to have guidelines. And what we're seeing here is that we want to see, when God said, go and dominate the world, we are even performing below what God has designed. Yes. So, what we just need to do is to create modalities to check how this thing evolves. But we should welcome technology fully. It has come to stay. It is something that is to our benefit. Hello, ma. As we're here, were transmitted all over.
Yeah, people watching live. Yes.
Okay. Now, it's because of this same tech we're talking about. That's why we go. If you don't welcome, there are some stations that didn't welcome this or welcomed later and also behind. So we'll still behind. We'll still be behind. So what we could do is, yes, there is nothing that is here that doesn't have positive and negative value or impact on us. What we should not do is, let's see how we can direct them, how we can focus them to actually achieve our aim. Because in the land today, who we had today, you know, the other time we were talking about parents. I remember the last time when there was this Edo burst in Edo State here, and there was COVID-19 and others, and then there was e-learning. Maybe your mother should have told you. There was e-learning. A lot of parents were not involved. A lot of parents are in remote places. They will leave the phone at home. You get it? Why not still involved? We need to come to reality that this has come to stay and welcome them, open our eyes, let there be enough sensitization, enough orientation. Then government also needs to provide this access to this network. So to me, I think is advantage. You just mentioned AI now, like that chat GPT you're talking about. Yes, if you look at schools, if you go to schools, and me, I love schools that are tech sincerely, and I can go some lengths to actually ensure that my children have access to stuff because so now if you go to schools and you discover that okay, there is a way you can tame this. We are bored now. Then one day we visited a school at Uromi. I don't want to mention the name now. We visited a school and I was surprised. If I describe the person, you will know the person. I don't want to mention the name. The person made provision for 1,000 students to accommodate the student. 1,000
computers.
With computer, yes, computer with all the facilities. You get it? And in a classroom, you have digital board. And they describe it to me how when the teacher is sitting down and the teacher I saw it live in this town. Such should be encouraged, and let us have it because it is to our advantage. We can't run away from it. The other time when they were talking about 4G network, whatever, that is not. Forget anything that has. There will be the disadvantages part of it, demerits of it. But we just need to welcome it and also tame our children on how to get it.
We have about 3 minutes to end this discussion, but I still have 2 questions I must ask. So I'm going to ask them. Now, do you think we should be rethinking our assessment and testing methods for future education? There was one post I saw say, if not be trust issue, why my teacher go give me exam? He teach me, he say you understand, I say I understand. Why can't he set exam?
Even God tests us, to promote us.
But should we be rethinking the way we assess students? I don't think people fail outside of Nigeria. They do. Abroad, you say you fail.
They do.
But they have a place to function. Not like here, once they fail, they are like...
No, they're back now. Back seats.
No.
Back benches. Okay, but
I
your
think
opinion.
that when you fail, the problem with us is that we have made our children to understand that failure is bad. But the Bible made us to understand that when you fall, you have opportunity to rise.
Yeah.
All right, I was meant to repeat SS1. My father told me they didn't say you are bad or you don't have knowledge. They said that particular class, you should take it again. And so I grew up knowing that failure is part of life. But now you see parents are even bribing lecturers and teachers in order for that child not to fail. You are endangering that child from getting what he's going to get. So exam and assessment must remain.
Heard. Okay.
So that you teach. I want the counseling unit to be there to teach you that they say you should repeat this course or subject. Does not mean you are dull.
I'm in total support that counseling unit to be in schools.
Yes. I didn't even think about that.
Yes, that's what. There are children that are actually from broken homes. And then they have 1 or 2 stepmother that is pinching their head. I went to a particular school. He said the father said, if I don't get to the store, don't leave the store. And so this child came to school after 9, sweating, trekking from a very far distance. I mean, these are things that the counseling or the social worker can now call the parents to say, this is the impact of what your attitude is doing to this child's education. So, I mean,
and if the trend doesn't change,
yes,
authorities should even take it up.
Yes.
That would be wonderful.
So, coming to testing and examination, our marking should change.
Okay.
We should stop this.
Bad.
Yes. Do you know what I told my teachers recently? If you are marking OBJ, for example, 1, 2, 3, you get to that place, didn't get it. The answer is supposed to put it there. This is the answer. The child can go back home and revise it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And say, this is, if it is D, so you put B, you put the D. You don't put any, just put that, use that rubber, you put D in that space. It means that I got it wrong, like that. You get it? Don't have. There is also the one of, you praise, you get them feedbacks. You praise
the reward system.
You praise their efforts and tell them you need to improve in so area. Correct. Incorrect. Not wrong. Dull head. Everybody here. Shame.
Shame.
You understand? You do that. It's nothing.
Wonderful. And finally, please borrow me 1 minute before we leave the studio. This is just on a final note. Globalization and internationalization is very key. We're all doing the old jackpot thing now. We're relocating, we're going abroad. What can we do now to get to that standard where our results aren't just, it's just so looked down on, it's painful. A consultant got to United States and still had to go start medicine from the beginning. And he had to do a master's. He's already a consultant. Okay, I don't get it. So what can we do to prepare our students for this global perspective so that we don't also start having mental, should I say depression, or we now start looking down on ourselves? Even while we're in school, we're already looking down on ourselves.
We're having it already. First, our leaders should make us to believe in this country. Our leaders don't even believe in the country. That's why you could go abroad, you're going to be looking for health care. Can you make our doctor to believe that, yes, it's here, we can do it here? Make them to believe. Two, when you make them to believe, when I say make them to believe, let them see you as a leader, as an example. Then let's use the resources for them. When you use it for them, we talked about budget on education. When you use it for them, they will believe. Then it will have a sense, a signal to their heart that they on their own will now say, oh, there's hope for me here. There's a life for me here. Even though I'm risking my life as a police officer outside there, I know that my children are secure. They are insured. My wife is insured. If anything happened to me, they're secure. Make them be. And people see, Nigerians are wonderful people. This country, our people are good. I'm telling you, we just have leaders that shifted, and they are doing things that shift their attention. Look at medical doctors living here, and we are short of them. It's why.
Well, what I will add to that is, if a chief administrator of a country came out in an open TV like this and said, if you like, make it first class, there's no job for you. So which country will take you, please? So this is the problem. A chief administrator came on open air and said, if you like, make a first class, you don't have any job space for you. So then the country you're going to should have space for you. You're a second-class citizen there, whether you like it or not.
Look down on you.
So I think the first thing first, our leaders need to accept, like the entire world has accepted education as the key to where we're going to. Let us return back to what it was. Reshape it. We used to have foreigners in most of our schools.
Yeah,
in my secondary school, I had white as my classmates. Yeah. So, but now I can't find one white in any government school.
No.
So we go back. Let's not be deceiving ourselves. We know where we missed it. So let's, if we want to go back, we'll follow the routes.
It is well. Well, if you give us another 1 hour, we'll still talk about it. The issue about education is not something that can be dealt with in just one conversation. In fact, I know within the next 2 months, we're still going to be here on this show talking about education, but this time we'll be focusing on malpractices. So there's just too many areas of it that we need to handle, and FLIPSIDE is that program that is designed to address all of these social issues. And so next week Wednesday we'll be back again with another social issue. For those of you already in tertiary institution, even though you know that when you finish you might go abroad and they'll tell you to study again, please try not to just help yourself not to look down on your results, so that you can give it your best. You never can tell where that knowledge will become handy and useful. Help yourself. If Nigeria doesn't want to help you, just try. Parents, help your children. Children, help yourself, while our government is still waking up. I'm Daisy Leah-Sikili. Thank you for your time. We'll put this video on YouTube. Try to watch it, and we'll have a repeat broadcast of it on GoTV and StarTimes tomorrow. So, bye for now.